What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dad Does Videos. As you can see here in the background, I'm in the process of removing older wooden spindles and replacing them with the newer, sleeker, black wrought iron spindles. I'm going to be putting together a video to show you the entire process of how I did this. In the meantime, I wanted to make a kind of a smaller video to show you how I'm putting in the spindles, and that's just one part of this process. Traditionally, a lot of people will drill into the steps and the railing using epoxy glue or some other kind of adhesive to hold everything in. I stumbled upon this. This is the zip clip rail system. And as you can see here, it's made by a company called the Carolina Stair Company. I'll put the link to where I purchased these in the description so you can check them out. But it makes installing the spindles a lot easier. As you can see, it comes with the angled shoes that you need if you're installing on something like this, where you've got the angled railing and going up the steps too. It's angled, and as you can see here, it comes with the screws that you need and kind of the base for each side of the spindle. So let me show you how to go about doing this. It's really simple. Okay, step one to install the zip clip system. So you're gonna see I already have one of the bases down. Now, if you'll remember, we have two of these. One goes on the bottom and one goes on the top of your spindle. So as you'll notice here, once you get these out, the kind of longer part of the base, if that makes sense, goes facing down the steps. And once you figure out where you're going to place this, all you do is use those screws and simply drill in. You'll notice this is flexible, and the reason for that, and this is one of the great features of this product, is that you might need to be a little bit flexible with the spindle when it goes in. So depending upon when it gets level, you might need this to go a little bit up, a little bit down. Okay, let's prep for the next step. And the next step is going to be to drill in the top of your spindle or the base into your handrail. Now remember, when we put the bottom in, we had the kind of longer part going down the steps. What you're going to do when you drill this into your handrail, you're going to flip it over. It's going to be the opposite. So that longer part is going to go up. Okay, so before we actually drill that top base into our handrail, we want to get everything set up and ready to go. So I'm assuming by this point you've cut your spindle to whatever length that you need. You're going to want to grab one of the shoes, right? One of the angled shoes, and put that on the bottom and slide that into the base, while at the same time, make sure that goes in, like so. At the same time, you are going to get the other shoe for the top and just slide that on top. And you can just let that go all the way to the bottom, and then you are going to get the base for the top that we just talked about and slide that on top of your spindle, and again make sure that longer part is facing up the stairs. Okay, so we have our screws, and one other thing that you're absolutely going to want is a level. I like the ones that have a magnet on the side, so what I can do is just attach that to my spindle and not have to hold that on, while at the same time look at it to see if my spindle's level before I screw in my screws. Like I was talking about earlier, the great thing about this product is that the bases wiggle a little bit, so it leaves you a little flexibility in terms of where you want the spindle to finally lay so that it is level. So we're gonna just make sure it's level. And I know you guys probably can't see, but in this bottom part of the level, the bubble's right in the middle of the line, so it looks like we are in good shape. So you're just gonna wanna find the middle of your railing, so your spindle falls in the middle, and get your drill, put a screw on the end, and screw those screws in. Okay, just a little tip here. As you can see, I only screwed in one of the screws right now, and you can see this is a little bit wiggly, and the reason why I like to do that is I like to leave it flexible to make sure that when I screw the other screw in, that the base here is absolutely straight, so my spindle won't look crooked if it's kind of up like that. Okay, as you can see here, I've got this second screw in. The top here is nice and level, and if I move the camera a little bit, you can see that the spindle is level. So we are going to go on to the next step. Okay, the next step is to tighten the top base of the spindle, so to speak. So there's a little spot right there. Hopefully you can see it, that where there's a spot to put your Allen wrench in. I have a 3mm Allen wrench right here. If you don't have a set of these, you can pick them up at Home Depot or Lowe's for like $15, $16, $17. You are just going to put this in and turn to the right. I still have my level on here to make sure that when I tighten this up, it stays in the right spot. This just kind of locks the positioning of the top of the spindle in place, so it won't move. Remember, we talked about that flexibility. So this locks everything in place so nothing will move once you've got this set up to your liking. Okay, so once we have this locked in place, we're just going to take that shoe, move it up, and there are going to be 2 screws on the side. We use a 2.5 Allen wrench and screw these in. So I like to start with the screw that is going kind of up the steps first, and just tighten that up. And then once I kind of feel it catch, then I'll do the other one. Okay, so I just started to feel it. So do the other side, again, just until it catches. Once you feel that catch, you're finished. Now we're going to go do the same thing with the shoe on the bottom. Okay, when you're doing the shoe on the bottom, I like to start with the screw that's going down the steps. Wait for that to catch, and then do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and that just caught, so we are locked in there. And as you can see here, my level is perfectly fine. We are in good shape. Okay, now you can see the finished installed spindle all the way down, and as you can see in the level, the spindle is perfectly leveled. I am going to show you how to install the spindles using this system on a horizontal surface too, so stick around if you want to catch that out. Okay, just wanted to give you a quick demonstration of how to install your spindles using the zip clip system on a flat surface going up to a flat railing. The zip clips that you install, at least on the bottom and top, are a little bit different than what we did in the background right here. In the example I just showed you, you can still see the 2 screw holes, but they're flat instead of angled. There's no wiggle room in here because they're just going to go straight up, and they're going to need to be level the whole time. These are too hard to see because they're far away from you, but when you install these, there is a clip on here that locks in your spindle just the same way the angled ones are. When you install the opposite one of these on top, you'll just want to have it opposite, so the clip will be on the other side to lock in your spindle appropriately. So let me show you how to do this. We're going to use the 2 screws that we used last time that came with the package. We've got our leveler, and we've got our 2 spindle shoes as well. Again, doesn't matter, one goes on top, one goes on the bottom. It doesn't matter which one you pick, they're both the same. Okay, so we're going to take our spindle, grab one of the shoes and slide that on the bottom. At the same time, you're gonna grab the other shoe, slide that on top. I like to keep the screws. Remember, we're gonna need to tighten these up just like we did with the angled ones with an Allen wrench later. And there's a screw on one side of each of these. I like to just keep them pointed one way. That's just me. You can do whatever you want. And I like to keep them pointed either to the left or right rather than front or backwards. That way you can't see them when you're walking down your staircase or down your hallway. So just slide that all the way down. And then you are going to get your other side of your zip clip system and put that on top of your spindle. Make sure the clip is in the right way. And then this is probably the trickiest part of this. Again, you're going to get the leveler, make sure it's level, and then you also want to make sure that your zip clip system, the bracket on top, is in the middle of your handle. So once you have that down, you grab a screw, get your drill, and screw the screw in. Double check my level here, it's just a little bit off, so we're going to adjust that. Sure, we're back in the middle and we are in good shape. Just like those angled ones, I like to leave this a little bit loose so that I can adjust the bracket just in case something happened where it gets a little crooked in installation. You can see my clip just fell down, so we're just going to put that back in. Got that back on, and now we are simply going to put in the other screw through the other hole. Tighten these up. Okay, so we take our level off, we move the shoes up. We've got our Allen wrench, and just like those angled shoes, we tighten this. Just like that. We do the same thing on the bottom. So that's how you install the zip clip system when both ends of the spindle go into horizontal bases.